Welcome back to RVN TV Morning Coffee. My name is Al Cinni.
I'm Joe Asumendi.
You know, and I would shake your hand, except I'm afraid I might get something.
Okay.
And don't take it personally. We have a terrific guest. You know, one of the really fun things about doing morning coffee with you, Joe, and for RVN is we get to talk to people that you wouldn't normally talk to.
Right.
But we have Erwin Stromeyer, who is the chief of the germ police. His company is the Sterile Infection Defense Services Company. And you're all about infection control. So Erwin, welcome to welcome to Morning Coffee.
Great.
And so I've got a restaurant, or I've got a hospital,
Gym.
or I've got a hotel, and I don't want people to get sick in my place, especially these days. That's where you come in, isn't that right?
Yes, that is true.
Good. Tell us how you do that.
Well, basically, the way we do business is we come in, we will decontaminate a facility, then we will terminally disinfect all the high-frequency touch points in that facility. Then we will apply an antimicrobial coating that does not wash off onto all surfaces and equipment and anywhere else where people are touching. And what that does is the coating works as a microbiostatic barrier, meaning when fresh microbes come down on, the reception desk or the doorknob or the coffee pot handle or whatever it be, if it's got the antimicrobial coating on it, that coating damages newly deposited microbes in such a way that it significantly reduces their ability to survive, thrive, and colonize that surface. So if you've got fewer germs on a tabletop or on any surface, if there's fewer germs on that surface, there's fewer germs to get on your hands and get into your system. And that would mean there'd be probably fewer opportunities to get sick.
How did you get in this business, Erwin? It's fascinating. How did you get into it?
Well, I am the son of a physician, but that's not why it happened. About 7 or so years ago, I was introduced to the idea of public infection control by a colleague of mine. And it was at a time when my father was getting very ill, and it was close to the end of his time, and he was catching a lot of infections. So it was something of interest to me for that reason alone. But basically, it turned into a business because it turns out the world is a very germy place for some reason. And the thing is, the average person has absolutely no clue how many things that they touch a day, and then they wind up touching their face, their eyes, nose, and mouth. And that's how they introduce those infection microbes into their system and how they eventually wind up being sick. So if you can keep the surfaces as clean as possible and give the surfaces the ability to, in essence, protect themselves from new microbes that come down on them by damaging them so badly that they're rendered essentially inert, then that seems like a pretty good public service to provide, trying to keep as many people as healthy as possible.
Well, that's, before the break, we were talking a little bit, and I remember you made the point that you're not a cleaning service. So
That's right.
You don't call your company because you need the floors done or the windows cleaned. You call your company because you don't want people to get sick by touching surfaces that may be contaminated.
That's right. And as I said earlier, we started pretty much in the childcare industry field. And a number of my clients who have been clients for a number of years at this point have written to me over time and said, since we've been using what we market as the Healthy Child Zone program, we've been seeing a noticeable reduction in the number of students and staff that are getting sick in comparison to before using your service. So we know it works. We know it's good for the public because there are so many things out there that are so heavily contaminated. And now with this pandemic thing going on, it's so necessary. And still a lot of people they don't get it.
Wow. So if there's somebody watching the program who might be a proprietor of a restaurant or let's say a nursing home, which I figure would be a big target for work that you do, are you a one and done kind of a company, or do I put you on a contract and have you come in routinely?
Very good question. So we do this most often as a once a year service because the antimicrobial coating, which is the key to the whole thing, it actually bonds to surfaces that have been cleaned to their virgin surface material it bonds to those surfaces with a molecular bond, or what's called a covalent bond. And therefore, it doesn't wash off when you clean it with general cleaners. But if you were to use something like soft scrub and a green scrubby pad, excuse me, you could basically take it off, because the only way it normally comes off is a long-term friction abrasion. And that coating is what's going to help keep as many microbes as possible from surviving on that surface.
Wow.
And, you know, I mean, we would love to be able to get into elder care facilities, but with this whole pandemic thing right now, you know, nobody's allowed in. They quarantine them. Unfortunately, a lot of elderly people passed from this in nursing homes and elder care facilities for a variety of reasons. But, you know, we're slowly getting into that market. We do a lot of childcare. We've done a number of restaurants. And, you know, the thing is, I remember when we were kids, you know, if you got sick and you went to the doctor, they'd say, oh, well, you know, we don't know if it's bacterial or viral, but here, take some amoxicillin for the next 5 to 10 days and you'll be fine. And unfortunately, that's the entire situation that created things like MRSA and other superbugs, which do not react well to the medicines that we have.
Well, you know, actually, that raises a really good point. It's not just COVID. There are lots of other.
Absolutely
You've been in
not.
business
COVID
since,
is just the newest, you know, monster on the block.
Yeah, right. The high-profile monster on the block. But there are plenty of reasons why you don't want people to get sick, and there are other ways they can get sick besides catching COVID. I think that's so important. Joe, you were going to ask a question there?
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, when somebody contracts with your services, take me through the process of what you do.
Well, I'll give you an example. We just did a special needs school in Bergen County.
Okay.
And we went in. We have a mobile laboratory that we bring with us, and all the toys and the chairs and things that can be cleaned with a water-based system go through this trailer lab that we have, and it basically gets everything virgin clean. Then everything is, while that's being done, we have a team working on the inside, cleaning every countertop, every table, wooden chairs are cleaned manually, you know, and all the toy cubbies, the children's cubbies, the teachers' desks, all the doorknobs, all the light switches, all the computer keyboards and mice, you know, all the appliances, handles, the keypads on the microwaves, and all of those things are taken care of by a team that works inside, cleaning and disinfecting all those surfaces. So all the cabinets for things are stored that are open shelf, everything's taken off and decontaminated. Then everything that's been deconned out in the trailer, that comes back in, is laid out, and then the entire facility is spray coated with the antimicrobial coating.
Wow.
That's basically it in a nutshell.
Okay, show us your badge.
This is an interesting
I love
story.
this. I think that makes it. He's Sterile Space Infection Defense. I think that's. And how did you get that badge? Where did that come from?
Well, the story behind it is this is our original logo, which is more like a pentagon with a biohazard logo in it. And for years, I would walk into child care centers, and we would use a special meter that basically gives you the volume of microbes on a surface. It's called an ATP meter. And so when I would walk in, there would be children in the room, and they would, you know, let me swap the tables and a few chairs. And some little boy would always come up to me and go, "Are you a policeman?" And I'd be like, "No, buddy, I'm just here to see if you have germs." "Oh, so you're the germ policeman." So the thing is, after hearing about it for 5 years, one day I finally said, "You know what? I better grab that name before somebody else does."
That's perfect.
So
It's
I found it as
a great name.
And then I called a company that makes badges, and I said, "Listen, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but this is what I do for a living."
Oh, that is cool.
And I was wondering, could I get a badge that says Germ Police on it and the company name? And they said, yeah, as long as it doesn't have like a state seal or say, you know, like police officer or detective.
Right.
I think
You know,
that's great.
It's a security guard badge to us.
It's-
And I said, okay, fine. That'll be the new company logo. And that's the new company logo.
That's perfect. Now
So,
I know you're.
And it's, as you can see right here, a great conversation piece.
Oh, it is terrific. A terrific icebreaker. What area do you serve? I know you're based in North Jersey. Is that right? Or
Yes, we're headquartered in West Orange, New Jersey, in Essex County. And basically, prior to the pandemic, I mean, I have clients in Texas, I have clients in Ohio and Pennsylvania, I have, one or two clients in California. But the problem is with this pandemic and no flying and all that for the longest period of time, we kept it to where we could drive to. So that's basically Boston to Washington and as far west comfortably as like Harrisburg, PA.
Wow,
Okay.
that's impressive. And I'm thinking to myself, there are a lot of companies out there that are now emerging from lockdown. And it would be great for them to be able to tell their customers that they've worked with you and have sterilized their spaces.
It's interesting that you say that because we have multiple branded the service as the Healthy Child Zone, the Healthy Elder Zone, the Healthy Dining Zone, the Healthy Sports Zone, the Healthy Fitness Zone, the Healthy Patient Zone, the Healthy Work Zone, and a couple of others I don't remember at the moment. And those are all trademark names. And so, if we go after a restaurant, it's, once we do your restaurant, you're going to have a certificate, you're going to have a decal for the door, you're going to have signage and informational stuff that we all provide with your logo on it. And it will tell your customers, you know what, it's safe to come back. Our place is cleaner than most. And if you want to have a nice place to come for a good meal or a place to work out or, a biologically cleaner doctor's office to go to, look for either the Healthy Patient Zone, Healthy Dining Zone, et cetera, and so we try to help our clients publicize that as much because let's face it, people may have been relatively naive about germs and getting sick prior to this pandemic because the last time we had anything even remotely like this was about 100 years ago. So I don't think there's too many people from that time left to tell us about that.
Wow.
But, it's a dangerous situation we're in. It's unfortunate that it's become so highly politicized, but people have to realize good health is your most important asset.
Absolutely.
If you can't keep yourself healthy and if you become debilitated because of illness, it's not a great life anymore.
That's a great point. Erwin Stromeyer, you are the proprietor, chief of germ police at Sterile Space Infection Defense. We have to wrap up our interview, but before we go, take a minute and tell everybody how to reach you.
Okay, if people would like to reach us for more information or to have a proposal, you can do it one of a few ways. You can call us at 973-714-8288, or you can go to our website at www.sterilespace.com, which is SterilesPace.com, or you can go send me an email to Irwin, IRWIN, at sterilespace.com.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Erwin,
Thanks
for
a lot.
joining us today on Morning Coffee. What an interesting subject.
Absolutely,
And,
important at this time.
What a great subject. And we'll be back after these messages.
Great. Thanks, Erwin.
Thanks, Erwin.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
You
Stay
too.
healthy.
Stay safe. Have a good weekend.
Good.